everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm naming this the House of Nerdy, and today we're going to be talking about and reviewing Shang Chi. I saw it last night. It was a blast. It was an amazing film. I had just a great time. It was my first movie I had in the movie theater since Far From Home, like 2 years ago, and it was just a blast. And I had such a good time with the movie. You know, it was my Marvel fix I've been looking for. It was the Marvel movie that gave me that Marvel hype, that Marvel brand, I guess you could say, that normal Marvel thing I always want. You know, them phase 2 and 3 movies. You know what I mean? Like that normal Marvel itch was scratched with Shang-Chi, and I couldn't be more hyped for Simu Lee and the Shang-Chi character in general. He was my favorite part of the movie. I love Shang-Chi the character. I love the 10 rings. I think he can do some damage in the MCU, and I think that he's probably one of the stronger ground level heroes in the MCU as we speak. And I want to see more of him in the MCU. I don't know where he's gonna show up next. If you saw the post-credit scene that I'm gonna be making a whole nother video about, then he's probably joining a team, a very powerful team that they're making. You know what I mean? And we'll probably see him a lot in the MCU, maybe like Captain America 4. You know what I mean? I would love him to meet up with Spider-Man, teach him like the way of the spider from the comics. I would love all that. You know, like they didn't even go full deep into the character. Like he didn't even use chi, and that's one of the character's main things in the comics. Like, it's basically a superpower. And then you have he has the ability to clone himself in the comics. Like, that's crazy. Like, if they give him one of those two things, he's one of the most powerful ground level planetary threats in the MCU. Or could maybe even battle with like a Thanos without the Infinity Gauntlet, like stuff like that. Maybe he could even battle Thor. Not win, because Thor would probably win that, but he could battle him and give him a good shot. Like, I just love what they did with the character, and I'm excited to see what they do with him going forward. I love Tony Leung's Mandarin. They really call him the Mandarin. They kind of made fun of that name, which is dumb to me because I love the Mandarin. He was great. The acting was amazing. He was almost the main character of the story. Like, he had most of the runtime, to be honest with you. And his story, like the story they told through him, was pretty great, and I loved it. And I was intrigued the whole time. There were some times where I'm like, do I agree with this guy or do I disagree? Like, it had me thinking. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I just hate this dude, he's just evil, or he's a great guy and I just love him. Like, he's a conflicted character, and those are usually the best type of characters. You know what I mean? Those are the best type of villains for your movie, to have somebody who's conflicted and the audience can care for but also root against. Those type of like teetering the line of anti-hero villain is usually the way to go for your main villain, and I think they did that perfectly and captured it perfectly with Tony Leung's Mandarin. And I thought his scenes with Shang-Chi at the end of the movie were amazing. I thought, like, really the father-son aspect of this movie was really the most human thing in the movie. And it was really like, you know, you have all your Marvel like glitz and glamour, you know, the fights and the big CGI stuff, but really at the heart of it, it's just really a father and son story, and really a family story at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's just a story about a troubled family who has a troubled past with each other, and they haven't worked out their issues, but now they're all coming to a head. So some other pros of the movie were the action. I love the action. I love the dialogue in the movie, and I really loved the story in the movie. Those were three things that I thought were really strong, other than, you know, Tony Leung and Shang-Chi, who I thought carried this film and were the main pieces of this film and made the film go. Now, some of the weaknesses. Awkwafina, her character did not need to be in the movie that long. Like, she was like, come on, like, what do we really need Awkwafina there for that long? Like, come on, like, she doesn't need, like, she could have honestly stayed in the States. She could have just stayed in the United States and it made sense. But like, why is she not, when they got to the village, why did she train to be an archer? Why does that make sense? When did you show me that she had the archer ability? Like, is she just naturally an archer? I don't know. It confused me. But that was just like, it was just a weird thing. Like, I liked her character in some moments, but like, I just don't think she needed to be there, like the co-star of the film. Be honest with you. Like, I don't think she needed that. I don't think that character was needed for that role. But it wasn't like, it didn't ruin the movie for me, but it was just like, it was like a weird thing. And like the fact that she was in the post-credit scene at the end of the movie, like, why would she? That's like Pepper Potts. Like, even though Pepper Potts is like, she has more of a standing in the Marvel universe, but that's like her being at the end of like the Iron Man post-credit scene with Nick Fury. Like, that just ruins the whole, like, scene. Like, it just makes it feel weird. Like, why is Pepper Potts listening to Nick Fury and Iron Man talk about the Avengers? Like, that doesn't read, you know what I mean? So I don't know, that was just a weird aspect of it for me. But all in all, that was really my only like weakness for real. Like, there were some things that I was like, but like, it wasn't like nothing out like standing, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing that took away from my interest and hype and intrigue of the movie while I was watching it. I was glued to the screen, you know, for the whole 2 hours 15 minutes, whatever it is. And I just really enjoyed the like fantasy aspect of it, like with like the Dweller in Darkness, and you have this ancient village, like mystical village with mystical creatures, and you see like all these mystical Chinese creatures. You see Naruto, the Hokage, he's there, you know, the Nine-Tailed Fox, he's there. You see all these crazy things, and then you go and you see this like this end battle that's just crazy, like war type battle with these two sides, and it's just crazy amounts of power on display and crazy amount of fighting skill on display. And I thought the fighting was amazing at the end. Not that they did something really bold at the end, but I think they did it well, and I was very pleased with what I got in this film, and I was very pleased with how it turned out. The middle part was it was a little boring, you could say, like lost a little intrigue because a lot of dialogue, and you know what I mean, it's kind of the slow part. But the end of the movie is really strong, and it's such a strong ending that it elevated the whole film, and it made it really special. If you agree or disagree, leave your opinions down below. Peace out.